This episode is not sponsored, but we encourage you to help support the small businesses, charities, and organisations that we mention.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Our Circle. I'm Rhiannon.
And I'm Jess.
And so the other day I was at work and we do work. I promise we do work when we're at the office, but sometimes we like to have fun discussions, and it really went off on a tangent. And my friend James got up this article called Hills to Die On. And I thought this is such a perfect episode for us to film, because I think there are plenty of things that Jess and I would die on a hill for. And if you're not familiar with that expression, it's just basically saying things that you're not really going to change your opinion on, like you stand very strongly for it and you would die on a hill for it, sort of thing. So there's a few from that article that I'm going to just bring up just to see where we stand on it, but I think Jess has quite a few of her own, and I've got a few as well that I just feel like it's our chance to shed some light on the things that we really feel strongly about. And to be honest, a lot of these are probably quite petty or very small. It's not that deep, but at the same time, it's fucking deep. Like, I mean it.
Yeah, I have a couple of deeper ones, but mostly kind of on the surface, kind of like, should that really annoy you?
Yeah, mine are definitely surface level. I couldn't think of too many deep ones, but maybe when we get into it, some will come up. So, okay, so let's talk about some of the ones that were in the article. I've just picked out a few. There's about 40 of them, but I've only picked out a few. Okay, speakerphone is not meant for using in public. Where do we stand on that?
I get that. Like, in terms of if I was on a bus, I wouldn't ever dream of I don't even like being on the phone, like if no one can hear the other person. Like, I prefer to text, or like, I'm pretty sure you're the same. Like, you'd be like, oh, I'm on a bus, I will voice note you, I'll respond to you when I get off.
Yeah.
But I would speak on a speakerphone if I was walking down the street and no one was around me. I'd check first to be like, and I don't know why that is, but I just feel like it's just common decency. Like, you just don't do that.
Okay, but low-key, love to hear the tea. Like, I want to know what people are talking about.
I wish other people do it more. Yeah,
like, I actually don't mind when other people do it. Sometimes it's a bit like, I don't care if you've got them on speaker. I care if you're being loud. Like, you can hear them. Why are you yelling back? Like, that's more where I would stand on it. I don't mind if you want to have your conversation out loud, because I'm low-key here for it. Like, like, what the hell did Janet say next?
Earphone out, like, listening.
Yeah, like I always remember this one guy years ago. He was doing a job interview on the bus, like a telephone one, and I was just like, oh, this guy has confidence. Like, this guy is on a different level, because he was talking about his skills and everything. And I was just listening there, like, yeah, I'd employ you based on this.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, that's different, real different.
Yeah.
Okay, a food related one. Tall burgers completely nullify all the benefits of burgers. So they're basically saying when a burger's so tall, it's like stacked with loads of fillings inside, that it's pointless because you can't get your mouth around it. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I like small burgers. I don't like them too chunky. So I'm definitely agreeing with that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if they are really tall, and I don't know, it really annoys me when you have to eat food. I suppose this is my hill to die on. When you have to eat food that is obviously hand food, but you feel the need to use a knife and fork. Like, I don't want to use a knife and fork with a burger. So if I've got something that's massive and it's got one of those, like the cocktail sticks through them to keep them together, my hand is going on the top, it's squishing it down so that I'm able to get my mouth around it, because otherwise it's just ridiculous. So I'm kind of,
when you said you feel the need to use a knife and fork, is that like to look polite, or?
Yeah, well, it's no other reason. like my hands and my mouth.
Can I just squeeze one in here?
Yeah, go on.
Who eats pizza with a knife and fork?
Oh,
like,
my God,
okay.
That was exactly my thought. I was like, it's so much work as well. Like, that's a hill to die on. If you're at a pizza place, they should pre-cut it or pre-slice it.
Yeah, and I think it's an Italian thing as well. Like, you eat it with your hands. You don't eat it with a knife and fork.
Then why I don't understand anywhere that has utensils for pizza. Sorry, don't get it.
No,
dying on that hill.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this one's more like common courtesy. Returning a shopping cart or a shopping trolley is not that hard. I agree. I don't get it. I don't get why people feel the need to just leave it. I'm one of those people as well. If I see one that I haven't put away. I'm the one. I may as well be employed at this point because I'm putting away all the trolleys. Do you do that? No.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't go taking a whole line of them, but yeah, I put a couple back.
Yeah.
Also, on that kind of same notion, one that I was thinking of as well is like, if you're in a shop, I don't know how strongly I feel about this, but is one I think other people might be able to relate to. What if you get to just before you get to the checkout and you're like, actually, I don't need this item? Would you go and put it back in its place, or would you just kind of secretly put it on a shelf? Because I'm
You're the
someone, and I'm
secret.
gonna put my hands up. I just put it on a shelf wherever it's next to me because I can't be asked to walk to the other side of the shop again. Whereas Joe will insist on going back to the exact place they go from. And I don't know if it's coming from a place of I've never worked in retail and I don't know how annoying that is for someone who works in a shop, whereas Joe has. Where
Well,
do you
I've
stand?
worked in retail and I kind of appreciated if there was things out of place because it gave me something to do.
Right, okay.
But I don't know. I actually don't know how I feel about this one because I don't care for either one. Like I'm kind of indifferent to it. I think it depends what shop I'm in, maybe, or maybe it depends on how many people are around. I don't like someone seeing me do it.
Oh yeah, I feel guilty as hell if
Yeah,
I do it and someone's
but
watching.
actually doing it, sometimes I'm like, no, this is such an inconvenience. I'm putting it on here. Like, say if it's, especially if it's clothes, I'm like, I'll get over it. It's a clothing rack. Like, it's fine.
Right, okay.
Whereas, say
Yeah.
if it's food, like in a supermarket, I think if you're putting a product that's clearly not there, I'd be like, that's a bit confusing. But at the same time, it's really not that deep. Okay, this one is such a like a point of conflict, I feel, for people. Does your toilet paper go on the top or underneath? To
I read
me,
this one
on the
earlier
top.
as well. Okay, so the way someone described it, I don't know if it was the same on the website you were looking at, but the way I read it was it should have a beard, not a mullet. So I am definitely team beard. The paper should be coming from the front. It shouldn't be turned to the back.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes
Yeah.
over, not under.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't know why though. It's not like like some people have said it's from a hygiene perspective, and I'm like, I don't get it. They're both like literally rolling the same way. I don't
Yeah.
I don't really
Are
understand
your
that.
hands smeared in shit? Like why what hygiene are we-
I don't get it at all, but maybe it's an aesthetic thing for me. I just think it looks nicer on top. When it's underneath, I'm like, ugh, I get a real ick for it.
Yeah, I have to change it around.
Yeah, I do it at people's
Yeah.
houses. I don't like it. Like if I'm coming back into your bathroom, I don't want that like facing that
Yeah.
way. Okay, well at least we're on the page of that. Some of these ones I relate to in the sense of it's like a grammar thing or like just actually being able to pronounce words correctly. So it's espresso, not espresso. I didn't actually know this for a long time because I never drank them, but now if I hear someone say espresso, I'm like, it's not called that, it's espresso. But I'm doing it in my head. I'm not actually correcting someone out loud.
Yeah.
And this links to ones that I've written down because all of my ones are word related. I get in my head, I never
Okay.
correct people out loud because I'm just like, don't be that person, don't be that bitch. But like in my head, I'm like, oh my God, like what are you saying this for? I'm like gritting my teeth. So this one always makes me think of two TV shows. It makes me think of Friends and it makes me think of Sex and the City. You're and you are, but with an
Yeah.
apostrophe. So you're. So I'm like, why you are means you're or you are or something like that. That bit with Ross. And it makes me think
Yeah.
of the part where Carrie realizes that Big's fiance can't spell because she puts an invite saying
Okay.
you're
Yeah.
invite instead of you are. So yeah, that one kind of bugs me when people put that online. I'm like, just think what you're spelling, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stand when people say guises for like, oh, what's your guys's opinion? It's not guises. What, like a geyser is something that comes out of the fucking ground. Like it's like water.
I'm really glad
Saying
I've never heard that because that
it's
is
on
really annoying.
every American vlogger that I watch says it. It
Oh.
drives me up the wall because I'm like, why are you trying to make something plural that is already plural? It doesn't make sense. Like grammatically, it
Yep.
makes no sense. So that just say your, like, what's your opinion? Not what's your guys' opinion. What are you saying? That just bugs me.
Mm.
It bugs me when someone says was instead of were. You're like, oh, was you instead of were you? But
Yeah.
again, that's just a thing in my head. I'm not gonna correct someone out loud. I'm not gonna be that bitch.
Mhm.
And then the other one that really bugs me, and I was telling my friend this a few months ago, and she was like, who the fuck is saying this? And it's when someone says a fourth instead of a quarter. So you know, like a quarter cup, instead they say a
Yeah.
fourth. like a fourth, like, oh, it's 1/4 of this. It's like, well, look,
Yeah, no, that's weird.
it's not incorrect. It is a fourth, but like, who the fuck is saying a fourth?
Yeah, there's
It's
a
a quarter
word for
part.
that
Yeah.
for that proportion. Why would you use something different? That's
Like, you
so
wouldn't say a
weird.
fourth past, you'd say a quarter past.
Yeah.
So those ones bug me. Okay. Another one from online. Sorry, that was just all of my pet peeves that were just getting out there, and they're all words. Okay, another one is not all water tastes the same, or not all water is the same. What do you think of that? I don't know how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think like you can definitely taste the difference between bottled water and tap water. Is that what that means?
Yeah, I think that is what it means. And like different people, like I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I don't like certain brand, and then they say, oh, I prefer, and then they say the brand, and I'm like, I don't know if I can actually tell that much. Like, I think when I'm thirsty for water, I'm just glugging it back. I'm not really savoring
Yeah,
the taste, if I'm being
yeah,
honest.
yeah,
I'm not really a
yeah.
water connoisseur.
I mean, this is like the most like privileged argument ever.
I know.
Like, what is it? Oh my God, Evian doesn't taste the same as Volvo.
Yeah,
No, not Volvo. What's it called? Volvic.
definitely doesn't taste like
Doesn't
water.
taste like water. No, I do actually agree with that one.
Fair
But
enough.
like you said, like when you're drinking water, you're probably in a position where you're really thirsty, so drink it. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, drink up. What
Yeah,
do you think of this one? Freshly grated cheese is better than store-bought pre-grated cheese. I
yeah,
agree
100%.
because it
100%.
feels powdery.
Yeah,
I don't.
it's completely different.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a quick one. um, Greeters in a shop are annoying and unnecessary. I agree that they're annoying. I don't think they're unnecessary.
I think they're annoying and unnecessary. No offense if that's your job or part of your job. I
Where
just
I've been one, my cheeks hurt from like having to be like, "Hi, how are you?"
okay, so can you explain to me like what the kind of purpose of the greeting is?
It was like clickbait, basically. The equivalent of that is to try and get people in. So I was always put on,
Oh,
yeah, I was always put on the front to try and get people in. And it was just to make it like welcoming, I guess. And yeah, literally it's just greeting people on the door. And then also my job was I had like a headset so that I could let other people know who were like upstairs or whatever, oh, family's about to come up sort of thing. So it'd be ready to serve them or whatever. It was sort of like a
right.
notifying the team of who's around, but that was just where I worked. I don't know about, there's some stores where I'm like, you don't need this person here at all. But then sometimes
Yeah,
I'm like, oh no, I appreciate it because it means I know that there's a member of staff that I can actually speak to about something.
right. Yeah, I don't know. I just find it, maybe this is just me and just being, I don't know, I just find it like a bit too much.
Yeah.
Like someone just being there, just like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, hi. Yeah, I just want to get on with my shopping. Like,
So do you not like it when they can't like, oh, is there anything I can help you with? That you like, fuck
oh my
off.
God, I can't stand that. Or when, when you're in a restaurant and you're eating your food and someone
That,
keeps coming to a table,
oh, that annoys me.
leave me alone. I'm like, my mouth is full of
That
food.
that is when they always show up. Like, what do they think you're
Yeah.
gonna do? Spit it out and be like, oh, yeah, it's great. Like, I'm like,
It's like if I've got a problem, like you will know. Like, don't worry about it.
there's no need to say 7 a.m. in the morning. AM lets us know it's in the morning.
What do you mean?
So when people say it's 7 a.m. in the morning, well, 7 a.m. means morning. So you don't need to
Oh, I
say in the morning
see.
after.
Yeah.
And it's the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
as people saying PIN number, PIN, like the N in PIN stands for number, and
Number.
ATM machine, M in ATM stands for machine. So it's like people
Ah.
finding that annoying. I mean, that doesn't bother me at all.
Like
That's not,
I mean, that went over my head, so
yeah,
clearly doesn't bother me.
not that. Okay, I got another one. Toothpaste. It pisses me off if you just squeeze it from the middle. What are you
Yeah.
doing? Go from the bottom and squeeze
Yeah.
it all the way up.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And the
Yeah.
same with like a Ziploc bag with air in it. Like you squeeze the air out because the whole point of a Ziploc bag is keep things fresh. If you keep the air in, it's going to go off.
Right. Yeah.
Weirdo. Have you got any?
Yeah, I've got a few.
Go on.
Okay, this one I read online and I was like, yes, like I'd never really like properly registered it, but I was like, I can really relate to this. So cinema nachos aren't nachos, they're chips and dip. They're not proper nachos.
I can't say I've ever had any, so I don't know what it looks like.
Lucky you, don't ever order them. They're so disappointing. Honestly, they're awful. It's literally just like dry tortilla chips with like some like really, really fake cheese dip next to it and like a salsa. And it's not nachos. You can't call that nachos. Like nachos needs to be like loaded. You need to have layers. You need to have a proper, yeah. So that one, I was like, yes.
I'd probably agree with that had I had it before.
Yeah, probably you would, because you are a big Mexican fan. So
Yes.
line skipping, right? So if you're waiting for a bus, like I do this every time I'm on my way into work. I kind of, not even subconsciously, I just kind of clock who was there at like what point, and I make sure that when the bus comes, these people are going on like according to how long they've been waiting. Also, obviously, like if there's an elderly person, they will be let on first, or someone with a child, absolutely fine. But it really, really bothers me when more times than not, it is like a school kid or like a teenager who's clearly in their own world, just wants to get on the bus, completely messes up this order of like when
How
people
dare
got
they?
there, and just get to the front. Like, it really annoys me. I'm like, no, hang on, these people are waiting so much longer than you. Like, it's only fair they get on first. So that, and
I
also,
think that's mad. I think for me that I don't get too annoyed by it because I'm like, the bus is going to take off the exact same time. Like, it doesn't matter to me. However, I do think it's rude. Like, I think it's common manners. Like you said, if I see a bunch of school kids going in front of like elderly people, I'm like, that's rude. But and if they have done that, I'll try and like, I'd allow the elderly person go in front of me instead to try and make up for their wrong, even though that's probably wrong. I should
yeah,
just be like, I don't know. It for me, I don't get too bothered because I'm like, well, the bus is going to leave the exact same time.
yeah,
But I completely get it.
it's
It's
not the
rude.
leaving, it's not the leaving part. It's more like, I think it's the seat part, because it's
Oh
like if
yeah.
you're getting on first, you're potentially taking up someone else's seat who may have, for example, if they've got to the bus stop a lot earlier, it may be because they needed to sit down and they
No, you're
needed to
right.
be waiting.
You're right.
You know what I mean? That's a pet peeve of mine. And also, maybe this is kind of tied into the situation, but this happened before a gig a couple of months ago. I needed the toilet and I was waiting to go to the toilet, and someone was in the queue before me, and they kept looking behind them as if to like look out for their friend. And their friend had been off doing something else, and she was like, "Oh, over here, come here," and came in. And this queue was very long, a very long queue. And what annoyed me a lot as well was that the men's queue was literally in and out, like
I know it's
no queue
ridiculous.
whatsoever. But anyways, this woman invited her friend to come and stand in front, like with her, almost like saving her a spot. And that
Was
really
this to go to
annoyed
the
me because,
bathroom?
yeah.
Yeah.
And this really, really annoyed me because I was like, I'm desperate for the toilet. And like,
Yeah.
I've been waiting here for such a long time. Your friend's just been going off doing whatever,
Mm.
like literally been shopping. And then she was like, oh, come. Like, I overheard the conversation. And that annoyed me. And it's just this thing about like, it's not your
Line
turn.
skipping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Life-giving is a big hill to die on for me.
Okay. Do you know what? Actually, sorry, you bringing up gigs. Tall people standing in front of short people. Don't do it.
Yeah.
It pisses me off. Like, I can't
Yeah.
fucking see. I haven't paid this amount of money to look at the back of your back actually because I can't see the top of your head because I'm not that fucking tall. It's like
Yeah.
the land of the giants fucking come out when I go to a gig. I'm like, where have you
Mm.
all been? By the way, like you all come out of the woodwork when I'm about to see someone live.
Yeah.
Like if you can literally see over my head, get behind me. Like, how dare
Yeah.
you?
Are you talking about standing positions, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're
Like
sat down,
seated.
like
Yeah.
it's a bit different. Like you can't change that. But and usually with seated stuff, it's done like in a way where you're just a little bit off anyway. Like so you should be able to see no matter the
And
height of
slight
someone.
gradient as well. So
Yeah,
like,
exactly. But
yeah.
no, if you're standing, fuck off. Like
Get back.
it really annoys me. The amount of neck ache I get. Oh, and you're like
Yeah.
doing this, like you're like, oh, like trying to sort of sway almost constantly to try and see. And then I don't want to be like, I don't mind taking videos and photos at a gig, but
Mm,
I don't want to
mm.
watch the gig through my phone. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
just so I can see, like, oh, what's happening now, and then looking through my phone. Like, what's
Yeah.
the point? What was the point of me coming?
Yeah. I totally agree with you
Oh, I
on
get
that.
real heated by that.
Okay, I've got one here. I think you should always say thank you when someone waits for you to pass you on the pavement. So if someone waits for you because it's too narrow,
Mm-hmm.
and
Because we have
a
that problem
person,
here in the UK, just so you know, for anyone else who's living in places where you don't have to worry.
yeah, I just think it's again like common decency to just say thank you when someone's waiting for you. It might only be a couple of seconds. It's not that inconvenient, and maybe it's like a British thing, but it's like you just say thank you.
I think manners aren't like hard. I don't understand. Like it's like when
Yeah.
someone says what instead of pardon. Like I don't know if that's just because I've been like that's been drummed in my head since I was a kid. Like you don't say what, you say pardon. So I would never ever say what, like to someone if I misheard them, I'd say pardon, or can you repeat that again, please, sort of thing. Like I just
think it depends who I'm with for that. If it's at home, I'd probably
really.
say what. If it was like with like, I don't know, in a workplace or something, I'd probably try and say pardon. But no, I get that. I
No,
totally
but
think manners is
have you never heard kids, if you ask them a question, they turn to you and go what? Like I used to have that with kids I
yeah.
was babysitting for, and I'm like, pardon, sort of thing, or say
Yeah,
please,
no, I'd always get
thank you.
corrected. Like as a kid, I know my mum definitely corrected me on that. Like
Yeah, I
and I do
suddenly
think
turn into
it's
Mary
important.
Poppins, like like
You're effing and blinding everywhere, but when it
I
comes
know,
to pardon,
I know. No, but you know, right, okay, so I just want to clarify this. Yes, I have a bit of a potty mouth, like with cussing, but it's not like I'm not polite though. Like for me, it's just it's just you just have to use it. Like it's not like
pardon, what the
I'm.
fuck did you say?
But do you know what I mean? Like I'm not using it in a way to be like offensive. I'm using it because I'm just like,
You're expressing yourself, I
yeah, I'm
understand.
just passionate.
Yeah, no, I
But
get it.
whereas it's different to me being like, fuck off, fuck you, all this sort of stuff, even though I've just
Yeah,
said that for a lot of tall people in gigs, but still I stand by that. I will die on that
yeah,
hill.
yeah. I want to do one deep one, and I want to know what
Okay.
you think of this.
Oh, okay.
Age is not a reason to respect someone automatically. So, i.e.,
Facts.
being old doesn't mean automatic respect.
Facts. Absolutely.
Hmm.
100% agree. I absolutely agree with this. You
Hmm.
don't just like, you don't earn just being a dickhead from age. Like, no, you don't
But
instantly
also,
get
in
respect.
turn, does that mean you don't respect babies then because have had a very short life so far? Like, do you know what I mean? I just feel like every single human being should have some sort of level of
Equal
respect, and
level.
then it should be
Yeah.
earned.
Yeah.
You know, like it should. Yeah,
I don't get me wrong. Like, I respect my elders, but I also will not be disrespected. So therefore, if you are
yeah,
an asshole to me, I'm not respecting you, or you do not have my respect. Not that you need it either, but don't expect it from me if you're an asshole to
yeah.
me, you know? And that
Yeah,
goes for
it's like
anyone.
you can't say something rude and then follow it up by like, but I'm old, so you still need to
Yeah,
respect
no,
me kind of thing.
that's not
Like,
an
yeah,
excuse. There are plenty of nice, polite old people who aren't pissing me off and being rude, you know? So you can be that too. If not, well, don't expect me to be polite back to you.
yeah, agreed, agreed. Okay, a food related one,
Oh yeah, go on.
which you mentioned straight away that I would say when we first talked about this idea for this
Okay.
episode.
Okay.
Well, it's related anyway. If a
Okay.
recipe says 2 garlic cloves, it means at least 5. We've definitely spoken about this before in a podcast episode, but it's just like automatic for me. Like 2 cloves of garlic is not enough for a meal. You're cooking for a family of a few people, up to 4 people, and you're putting 2 garlic cloves in a meal. Like
I mean, even if you're
you're
not
not.
cooking, even if you're cooking for one.
Agreed, agreed.
I don't
Yeah,
think for me, it doesn't necessarily apply to just garlic, though. It's a lot of things. I think maybe it comes with confidence of cooking as well. I think you and I are very confident cooks. I
yeah,
think we are
jazzing it
that.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And also we know what flavors we like. I think recipes are a guide. They're not gospel. However,
Hmm.
in baking, that is a bit more science. So you kind
Yeah,
of need to follow it. Cooking, not so much. It's literally about flavor.
yeah, agreed. Right, another deepish kind of one.
Okay.
It really annoys me when people call dads babysitters, or like they
Yeah.
get a lot of praise for looking after their kids.
Yep.
I feel like they should just be called parents, and they're doing what they should and what the mother would do anyway. Do you know what I
Yep.
mean?
Absolutely. Yep. I agree.
That really, really bothers me.
It's not babysitting. Like that's what you either pay someone to do or like a relative does, you know, or a friend
Yeah.
does. That's not what a parent does. It's literally just spending family time together.
Yeah. You're caring for your creations, so get on with it.
I
And
would
don't
never say
expect
like,
another
can you
praise.
imagine me saying, "Oh, did you babysit Mila today, Jess?"
Exactly.
That's so
Exactly. But
stupid.
I think it's when you put it like that, when you kind of put the shoe on the other foot, it's like you should say the same thing that you would to the mother that you would to the father.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
It sounds ridiculous.
yep. One last one that I had on here was about plastic packaging on fruit and vegetables in shops. In
Oh,
particular, cucumbers for me. It's just come up recently where every time I've gone to the shop, I'm just like, why is this cased in this huge lump of plastic? It's really inconvenient to get it out of the plastic as well
mhm.
when you're like cutting it open, but also just why is it there? Like
Yeah.
I understand kind of in like having to transport fruit and vegetables that you want to keep it safe, but like it's just
Yeah, but how safe is
annoying.
a thin layer of plastic protecting a cucumber? It's not. Like if you
Yeah,
have them all in a box that and the box is sturdy, that's protecting them. Like
yeah,
other than that, you're not protecting them. And if anything, like you're making it more harmful for everyone else. They go off. I remove all packaging of every food item, even stuff that goes in the freezer. They do not stay in boxes. That just seems stupid to me. Like you're taking up space. It's for me, it's often a space thing, but it's also like I don't want plastic touching my food. It doesn't need to be on my fruit and veg. And also, half of the like fruit and veg, like they have a natural casing. Like bananas, they have their
mm,
own case.
yeah,
Avocados, they have their own case. It makes no sense for you to double up with plastic. I don't need that
yeah,
in my body. Get rid of it.
yeah. Totally agree. It's so unnecessary, and surely it's more time consuming for the like supermarkets and stuff to put it on there, and it costs them more money. So why, just all in all, get rid of it? Why is it there?
Oh, I could not agree more. I think I'm going to leave it there because I'm just going to get annoyed. But I think it actually ties really well to the dedication that we have today. Would you like to share the dedication for this episode?
Yes, I would. So, the dedication for today is for a small business that is based in Teddington called the Refill Larder, and they are a plastic-free store. So, essentially, you go to their store and you can take your own jars or bags or whatever you would like to fill up.
Mm.
And they have so many different products from like bathroom products, cleaning products.
Zero waste
So
products as well.
yeah, chocolate snacks, baking products, dried fruit, nuts, grains, things for your children, pasta, rice, all these things that if you think about it, again, like if you were to take a jar with you, like there would be no need to actually have a, a plastic casing around it.
Yep.
So I just think it's a really cool idea that hopefully will sort of spread far and wide now. I know there are a couple of like Marks and Spencer's shops now that do sort of similar things where you can like go and refill sort of your own boxes with cereal and things like that. And
Hmm.
I really hope that's something that takes off. But yeah, this shop is based in Teddington. I believe that they also do online orders as well, with like really minimal packaging and non-plastic packaging. So go and check them out. They are refill-larder.co.uk. See what they've got to offer and whether you can make those small changes in your home just to be more sustainable and more planet friendly.
Love it. Thank you very much for that. And thank you everyone for listening. Please comment down below your hills you would die on. I'm desperate to see these. And if
Oh, I
you
can't
agree with
wait.
any of ours as well. And sorry if we sound like absolute nut jobs as well, in case like you just think it's really not that deep, Jess, or really like what are you all complaining about? But yeah, please let us know what you think. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow, all those great things. All of the info that we've shared today will be in the description box as always, and we'll see you for our next episode. Bye.
Bye.